another Harry Potter related video. Today I'm going to be doing the Harry Potter spells tag. Swish and flick. I'm currently participating in the Harry Potter Readathon over on Twitter. I will leave a link in the description box below so you can check it out too. We have just finished reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which is obviously the biggest book in the Harry Potter series, so bravo to all of us for finishing our rereads. And today I thought I would do the spells tag for you. So the tag has 10 spells. With each spell you need to find a book that best relates to it. So let's get started. This is my wand. It's a beautiful wand. I love it. Got the one from Ollivand's. Not quite Ollivander's, but second best. This is my certificate of certification for my beautiful wand. So it is almond, 14 and an 1/8 of an inch. Almond is widely known as the tree of life, but it is the first tree to bloom in the spring. The user of this wand will have their own creativity greatly enhanced, leading to happiness and prosperity. If only I could use this wand to write my book. Just, you know, bookus ritus. That would be perfect. I would love that. Okay, here we go. Expecto Patronus! That's not even the right one. I'm sorry, Pascal. This is Pascal. He's watching me film for the first time ever and it's freaking him out. Hello, Pascal. Yes, it's you. It's you. Yeah. Isn't he cute? Okay. We're going back now. Yes, you are. Yeah. Anyway, Expecto Patronum, a childhood book that is connected to good memories. For this spell, I have chosen the Enid Blyton Book of Fairies by none other than Enid Blyton. So the Enid Blyton Book of Fairies has many different stories in it, all related to fairies, and I used to read this all the time when I was younger. I loved reading all about the different fairies, and it was a really good book, and it was one of those books that you could just sort of pick up and you could just read, and then you could be done. And it was a great book. I really liked this book. Childhood memories. Expelliarmus! Expelliarmus, a book that took you by surprise. For this spell, I'm going with Me, an Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I was very surprised with this book, mainly because I thought it was going to be about death, and it turned out to be one of the funniest books I have actually ever read in my life. The way the book was written was really unique, and it just took me completely by surprise that I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, and I'm so glad that I did enjoy it because it was a great book. Prior Incantato, the last book you read. The last book I read was The Last Star by Rick Yancey, which is coincidentally the last book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. I wish I could say that I absolutely adored this book and that it was the perfect ending to the series. Unfortunately, it was not the perfect ending, and while I did enjoy it, it was not as good as the first book, and I was the tiniest little bit disappointed by the ending. Alohamora, Standard Book of Spells, Chapter 7. Alohamora, a book that introduced you to a genre you had not considered before. For this spell, I'm going with 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This is a young adult contemporary novel. I read this one for my Year 12 class. I was trying to pick a novel for my connective text essay, but you probably don't need to know about that. So I picked up this one. I'd heard about it, can't remember where I'd heard about it. 13 Reasons Why is about a boy named Clay who comes home to find a strange package with a bunch of tapes inside. Has his name on it, and inside he discovers that they were been recorded by Hannah Baker, a classmate who committed suicide 2 weeks earlier. Throughout the course of the novel, Hannah explains the 13 reasons why she decided to end her own life. So it's one of the first sort of young adult contemporary novels that I ever read, and I now am in love with the genre, which is something I never considered, considering I've always been sort of a fantasy girl. So it was really interesting to get to read this one and to find out that I actually really love contemporaries. Riddikulus! This class is ridiculous. Riddikulus, a funny book you read. For a funny book I have read, I am going to have to go with The Bad Book by Terry Denton and Andy Griffiths. So these books have been around for a really long time, and I read them way back when I was in primary school. This one was hilarious. I always loved it. It was definitely my favorite book of theirs from when I was younger. The entire book is just full of children's humor, crude jokes, and I have not read this book in so long. Pretty much, the book is just full of really bad stuff. Like, this is a little story called Bad Little Betty. Bad Little Betty wouldn't get out of bed. Was she being lazy? No, she was dead. Yeah, so for that reason, this book is my funniest book. Sonorous. Sonorous, a book you think everybody should know about. If you follow me on Twitter, you can probably guess what book I have chosen for this spell, and that is Akane by Lynette Noni. So clearly, I think Akane is the most incredible book ever written, and everyone should know about it, especially if you are a fan of Harry Potter, because at the beginning of this book, we are introduced to Alex Jennings, who is supposed to be spending a year at an international school while her parents are on an important archaeological dig. On her first day at the new school, she walks through a doorway and ends up in the magical world of Medora, where she instantly meets Avon, she meets Jordan, she meets Bear, and she attends Akane Academy for gifted children while she is waiting for Professor Marcel to return, as he is the only one who can help her get home. The book has a very Harry Potter / X-Men / Chronicles of Narnia vibe to it, so if you like any one of those things, you are going going to absolutely adore this book. The characters are beautifully written, they are so much fun to read about, and honestly, best series, cannot wait. So excited for Dracora. Please, 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 please let Dracora come soon. Obliviate! Obliviate, a book or a spoiler you wish you could forget you'd read. For this one, I'm going to have to go with The Haters by Jessie Andrews. Unfortunately, I did not enjoy this book hardly at all. There were little bits of it that I did enjoy, but for the most part, I just thought it was a book that was not very well thought out. Plot was very misjointed, and it was basically just full of dick jokes and crude humor. Not one of my faves. If I could go back and not pick it up in the store, that would probably be what I would do. Imperio, a book you had to read for school. For this tag, I'm choosing a book that I had to read for university, and that is The Hours by Michael Cunningham. I was forced to read this one for my university degree, however, I was very surprised to find that I actually really enjoyed it. So score 1 for university. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the rest of the books we read. Crucio, a book that was painful to read. For this spell, I am obviously going with Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Mrs. Dalloway uses a very interesting technique called stream of consciousness, where the entire book is basically just one big chapter. I was not impressed by the style, and as a result, it made it very, very difficult to get through the novel. Considering it's a very short book, it took me way too long to get through, but I had to read it for uni. So that's minus score for uni. Avada Kedavra, a book that could kill. So in the tag, this question says interpret how you will, and I'm sure that a lot of people have gone with really big books, you know, that could hit you on the head and literally kill you. But for me, I decided to go with a book that was emotionally very draining. And for me, that book was Helen Keller's Teacher by Margaret Davidson. Believe it or not, I actually read this book back when I was in year 7, I think, and it is a very, very sad book. The book is about Helen Keller, who is blind and deaf, so she doesn't live a very full life. The book is all about her teacher, Annie Sullivan, who comes to the house and tries to teach Helen how to have an incredibly full and happy life. It's a true story, and it's one that is incredibly difficult to read. I was emotionally drained. I had the biggest book hangover after I read it, and I read this book when I was 12. I don't even think I could read it again now if I tried. There you have it, my Harry Potter spells tag. If you like this tag and want to do one for yourself, be sure to leave a link in the comments below so that I can check it out as well. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random!